We are calling on Karol Hines from Karol Hines Consulting. Karol has a background in startup businesses. She was a co-founder of a company in Silicon Valley working on software. She views herself as a startup enabler, and since 2012, she has started in Nevada, working and helping businesses grow and achieve success. Karol, please take it away.
Hi, everybody. And today I'm going to have a conversation with an entrepreneur from Reno who has had some previous experience in competitions. Parker DeClercq. Parker, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, yes. My name is Parker DeClercq. I'm a senior at UNR and I'm studying marketing and entrepreneurship. I decided to become an entrepreneur in my senior year of high school, and I wasn't solidified until I came down to UNR, University of Nevada, Reno, because they had so many entrepreneurship opportunities. And so I ended up winning the Sontag competition for $50,000 in 2020. And that was at UNR with my partner. And so I just wanted to say hello and continue going. Go ahead, Karol.
Well, great, Parker. I was going to ask you first, what was your inspiration to become an entrepreneur?
It all started, like I said, in high school when I was I ended up signing up for a class outside of campus. I had to drive far from my high school to go there, but it was an entrepreneurship class, and it kind of piqued my interest. And I still didn't really know what I really wanted to do with my life. I was still young. It's my senior year. I really don't know where I'm going. But my teacher at the time really inspired me and helped me decide that I want to be an entrepreneur. This is something I'm really excited for. And so that's when it all started. And then after that, I decided to go to UNR. And they just had so many entrepreneurship opportunities that it actually helped me develop and even solidify that idea even further. And that's another reason why I went into the competition, was because I was so enthusiastic at it.
Mm-hmm. People would show up at Entrepreneurs Assembly where I was an executive director for a while, and they would wonder whether or not they were an entrepreneur. And I would always say, if you're here, you're an entrepreneur. I think all of us have entrepreneurism in us, and it just takes that one little thing. And in this case, it was your teacher to say, oh, yes, that's the path I want to take. So tell us about your journey. We know when it started, and we know a little bit about your successes. What else has happened along the way?
Yeah, so I started a few failed projects. I started some successful, and a good example. Well, I started some hustles and projects in high school, and I created a lot of these ideas, but none of them all worked out. And so a good example of a failure that I did was a flipping business where we would buy and sell things. And it was not really a business, it was more of a hustle. And I was doing it with my best friend at the time. And unfortunately, I taught him everything I know. I was doing research and doing this for a while now, and I had him join on. And then what ended up happening is he took over and just started doing it on his own without telling me. And so that was like one of those times where I was like, kind of felt betrayed, but it's like I had to move forward and say, okay, I need to keep moving forward and, not let this get me down. So I moved on to something else. But a successful idea that I worked on was working with my dad. Actually, I helped him build a website and brand to his business. And that actually helped him get a lot more clients to his theater construction business. And so that's something I'm really interested in too, as well as creating websites and different things like that, branding, marketing, and such.
Multi-talented, like most entrepreneurs. So what do you think are the hardest concepts of building a business for any entrepreneurs, but particularly young entrepreneurs to grasp? The business model, customer persona, market, what do you think are the hardest ones?
Yeah, I think honestly the biggest concept that most young entrepreneurs don't grasp is the importance of testing the market, because a lot of people I meet just assume their idea is great, right? Because they know, okay, this is going to be perfect for me, but they don't know what the market will say, right? And so I say, you should be able to know if your business is successful before you really even start it. Like, you go test the market before you start selling your product. And that's another way to help you get funding as well, to refer to the funding individuals that came today. If you have that MVP or prototype, which is a minimum viable product, you have that product that you're trying to release to the market, you can actually prove that it's actually selling before you really start a real business. Then they're really interested in getting funding, you know.
So I don't know about you, but I was blown away by that panel. I couldn't take notes fast enough. Every time I hear Danielle and put together a panel like that and talk about funding, I just learned so much. Do you think maybe that's one of the biggest challenges of young entrepreneurs, to figure out how to get funding, or what else is, you think, a bigger challenge?
I think one step before that is even a bigger challenge, is just getting started. Because I think, like, a lot of individuals, especially a lot of young people, they have a lot of these ideas that are actually really, really good. Like, they have ideas and they actually might be really successful. They just don't start them. And I feel like, for whatever reason, you may be scared about it, or you may not trust yourself enough. But I feel like you just have to make that first step. And that's like one of the biggest challenges before getting your funding, before getting anything, is just getting started. Because, you know, I feel like millions of people around the world have perfect ideas, but they just haven't started them yet. And so that's what I think is a big challenge for young entrepreneurs.
So you are an entrepreneur, you got to take that first step.
Yeah.
So along the way, you've talked about a few people that helped you, but can you think of anyone who mentored or helped you along the way, that who provided you with pivotal or significant insight and advice? You know, you don't have to give a name, but, you know, tell us where you met them, what their role was, and how they helped you.
I think, honestly, my dad has always been there for me. And I actually didn't know too much about his business. He never really talked about it. He's very humble. And so one day in senior year, and that's kind of where it all started, like I said, senior year of high school, he was like, "Hey, you want to come by and work for me for a day and come down to my warehouse?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I didn't really think much of him, because I never really saw what he does for his work. You know, he never really talks about it. You know, he's always just working and comes home. But I actually went in and saw the warehouse that he's working in with his employees and different things like that. And it just shook me, because it made me realize, like, wow, anything's possible. It's like this whole time my dad has been, you know, had this huge business he's been working on, you know, and he's never talking about it. He's very private. And it's not like he's hiding it. He just never really, you know, brought it up. He's kind of like a humble guy. And so that's where I really get my inspiration from, is my dad. And we kind of go back and forth with ideas. If I learn something from school, I'll teach him. And if he learns something in his business, he'll teach me. And so we kind of go back and forth. And so we always have that close connection.
I thought what you just said was really interesting, is somebody who's been in business for themselves a long time. Obviously, you've got entrepreneurial genes, that he's still open to have you learn new things from you. That's really what entrepreneurism is about: being flexible. I mean, among other things, being flexible and being open to see that there are different ways to do it that might be more effective and efficient. Can you think of, we have a lot of young entrepreneurs on here, I think, and we're trying to reach out to more. Can you think of any local organizations that they need to be looking into that might not have been mentioned earlier today in earlier conversations?
Yeah, I definitely think reaching out. I know a few resources on campus, like the Nevada Small Business Center and the Osmond Center. Those are good references, but also your teachers. You know, a lot of people don't reach out to their teachers, but you don't realize that a lot of these individuals have worked on businesses, or they may understand the market because they've worked with these things. And so a lot of times those are some like contacts that you never really think about, but when you really get close with them, you start to realize a lot of them have been working on these and have like specific niches that they could help you in. So that's kind of an interesting thing to learn.
So it sounds to me like what you're saying is you need to network.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'll add on to that. Yes, absolutely. Networking is huge. Just meeting as much people as you can, and you get to get knowledge and gold nuggets from all these different people. You know, one person's not going to change your life, but a few hundred will. You know, you have a lot of people giving you all this knowledge, and that's the whole idea.
I find that networking in the Reno area is very, very easy. There's lots of opportunities. But also, I think I'm hearing that every person you meet as an opportunity for networking. And I don't see people's faces, but I bet there are a lot of people shaking their heads right now. Okay, so we had some challenges in recruiting young people. And this is kind of in addition to that question of where to go, where to look, recruiting young people in the high school arenas to join the youth track. We've got 3 participants that are going to be presenting later. Do you have any thoughts on ways to reach these young entrepreneurs, to get them to be aware of and to jump in and take that first step to?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, personally, I think that there's something different about being in person, presenting and showing how entrepreneurship can change your life. And then unfortunately, COVID has stopped a lot of this, but I still think this is really important because I know, for example, one time when high school was ending, my senior year, they had all the seniors go into this facility and listen to a life coach. And to this day, it's kind of changed my life and the way I think, and also wanted me to become a life coach and kind of give back to people. When I become a fully fledged entrepreneur with, maybe multiple businesses, I want to be able to coach other people. And so that's kind of something that I took away from it. So I feel like having those events, even online events, is great too as well. And so just getting that outreach and having people come really can help people out.
So Parker, you are a fully fledged entrepreneur. And I think you are definitely at a point where you could be helping people and mentoring them. And I hope you take the opportunity to reach out and do some mentoring. I think we're going to send some people to you. I'm going to ask Parker one more question, but while I'm doing that, if there's anybody on here who would like to ask Parker a question, put it in the chat, and I will. I'll ask him that before we turn it back over to George. So my last question for you is, do you have a mantra, something that you tell yourself every day when you are facing the challenges, many challenges of being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, my biggest mantra, I guess, would be the idea of being constantly better than yourself rather than trying to be better than others or the competition. And this is similar how to like Apple runs their business. They don't even bother trying to be better than the competition. They just try to be better than themselves last quarter. And I feel like that's something you can put towards your life and your business. And so I see that when you think this way, anything's possible. But if you see it in the way where it's like you're only better, you try to be better than your competition, you can only be as best as your best competition, right? So you can't go any further than that. But if you can be better than yourself, you can be better than anybody. You're not trying to be better than anybody. You're just trying to improve yourself. That's it. And I really think it's all about just being better than yourself, not trying to be better than anybody else.
Let's see. Ask Parker to talk about Entrepreneurship Club. Oh, yes. Talk about the Entrepreneurship Club, and also did the Sontag funds help you make the next step?
Absolutely, yeah. So the Sontag Entrepreneurship Fund is essentially a competition that goes on at UNR, and you have to be a UNR student to sign up. But it's a competition for $50,000. Imagine like Shark Tank. Karol was there as one of the judges, and so it's a lot about just explaining your business and really showing that what is possible, showing your enthusiasm, and and the Sontag funds actually do help take you to that next level, and I feel like that's all. The $50,000 is plenty of money. You don't need much more than that. Even for like some of the biggest businesses, you don't need much more unless you're trying to start like a multi-million-dollar business. But for $50,000, that's a lot of money, and that can get you started 100%.
So, and I understand that that it was Treaty that won, that you were part of, and that they are still in existence. You've moved on to do other things, but they're still up and running and making money.
Yes, absolutely.
Good. And tell us a little bit about the Entrepreneurship Club up at UNR.
Yeah, so I'm currently the president of the Entrepreneurship Club at UNR. If anyone here is at UNR, if you're in Reno, you can come stop by. We have meetings at AB 408, and you can come by, which is and Sorry Business. And what we do is we just talk about starting real businesses. And actually, right now, I think we have about 5 people starting a real business. They started from my idea, and actually today they're bringing in their minimum viable products. So I have a presentation later today, and so they're actually bringing real products. And it's only been about a month and a half. And so I'm really proud of these people. They're really going far, and they just started. So it's not like they just came up with these ideas and they're actually building them. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm helping people build businesses.
So we have some young people and some older people too that might be interested, but particularly the young people who are in the rural areas. So if they made a trip to Reno, could they get in touch with you and come up and get a tour of the Osmond Center and learn about the Entrepreneurship Club?
Absolutely, yeah. If you're in town, I'm sure you can share my email after whenever. Yeah, if you send me an email, I would love to meet up with anybody here. Absolutely, 100%.
Or get you coaching these young entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Yes. Can you attend the club virtually?
Right now we were doing because it was difficult for us to do the presentations well, because we have very interactive meetings. We record it and then send it after.
Okay. And then also local high school students, are they allowed to participate?
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know the rules on exactly how, if you exactly have to be a student, but you're okay to stop by. I don't know if you can actually become a member, but you can always stop by and listen to the meetings and see the people build their businesses.
So hang out and learn to be an entrepreneur. Okay, so someone just shared somebody asked for your email to be shared, and Patty shared it. So
thank you, Patty.
If you want to know if you want to know Parker's email address, look in the chat and it's in there.
Yes, please send me an email. Thank you.
I think we're out of time, but do you have any last comments?
I'd say one thing. When you get your funding, from all these individuals, make sure to spend it wisely. Take time and really learn. Especially if you're young, learn as many things as you can, and try not to outsource until you really need to. You try to learn your own website development on this, and you can make your money go further, right? And that'll take you a long way. That's right. Or enlist some friends for free. Make them part of your company. Exactly. Another tip. Thank you. Okay. All right. I will now turn it back over to Maggie or George, whoever is going to take over from here.